Now more than ever, people are starting to really understand that their intuition has been trying to communicate with them, guide them this entire time, their entire lifetime. And for a lot of people, they're starting to realize how much they have trained themselves to tune their intuition, their higher self, their inner guide, inner compass, whatever you want to call it. They have trained themselves to really tune it out and to outsource their decisions to other people, to their fears, to what society tells them they need to do. But fortunately, for a lot of people coming to this realization, they are also having this awakening within that is strengthening and turning up the volume to their intuition. And a lot of people right now are really trying to understand it and are trying to be able to learn how to discern what is my higher self, what is my intuition versus is this fear based and is this something I'm doing or not sure the right decision because I don't know how to trust myself. So, right now, a lot of people are going on that journey of how to trust themselves. And maybe you're on a spiritual journey, or maybe a journey of self discovery, of self healing. And what has come up for you along the way is this idea of trusting yourself in a deeper way. So, I want to talk about how you can begin to discern what is your intuition versus what is fear. And this is something that I dive a little bit deeper into inside one of my programs, where I actually talk about how to really hear clearly and turn up the volume of your intuition when it is sending you messages, when it is communicating you, understanding the communication style from your higher self, and being able to really strengthen that communication line. Because ultimately, if you haven't been using your intuition or you've really trained yourself to tune it out, you have to rebuild that. You have to turn the volume back up and you have to really start testing things out, trusting yourself, taking action when you begin receiving your messages and testing out what what feels like discernment or what feels like your intuition. And sometimes that requires us to take action even if we're not fully sure. It's almost like we're training ourselves to trust deeper and somewhat take blinded action and trusting that the next answer, the next message, the next step will be revealed to us through taking that blinded action and that trusted action. The important thing to remember, I actually heard this quote the other day, and I've said this and taught this to my clients before, is that fear is always going to be really, really loud, really, really in your face, trying to think of it as it's like waving in front of you, trying to get your attention as much as it possibly can. Whereas the soul is a whisper. It is a gentle knowing or a gentle message that we receive in some way. And when you can start to recognize that in yourself, when different messages and things are coming through to you, being able to look at it and see what the energy is behind it, because your soul, your intuition isn't going to scream at you and say, hey, like this is the answer. It's going to nudge you. It wants you to trust it. It wants you to take action, even when you may not know if this is the right decision, but you just are deciding to trust yourself and allow what needs to come through from taking action. So I was just talking about this in one of my, I have a group chat with my clients in one of my group mentorship containers, and I was just talking about how it can come up for us so much when the fear is really, really loud, and we're having a really hard time like letting go of that fear. Maybe for you, you've been on this journey of healing and discovering yourself and deep reflection, and you've started to really slow down in your life to go within. And maybe some days you feel like you're on the right path and it feels like you're heading in the right direction, but then some days you're hit with this loud voice in your head that is just trying to tear you down. It is telling you how awful you are. It is telling you you're a failure and you aren't doing things right. You haven't been doing things right and you've messed up all of these things in your life. And it gets really, really loud and really, really hard to ignore. I've been there. I've talked with clients before that have experienced this. And sometimes for us, it can feel very debilitating and it can feel very confusing. Like, it's like, am I even on the right path? Am I even heading in the right direction? What is this all for? Like, these big questions, these weighing questions keep hitting you. And I just want to help you reframe your mindset around this when this comes up for you, because obviously for most people we experience this as a negative experience. We think that this loud voice, this loud critic in our head that is trying to tear us down and point out all of our failures and all of the things that we've done wrong, and the fact that we haven't amounted to the person that we truly are meant to be, and it's pointing out all of these things. Obviously it's normal for us to automatically feel negative emotions when those things come up, but I want to challenge you to reframe your mindset around when this is happening, because here's the thing: this voice, this narrative, this critic in your head wouldn't be getting as loud as it possibly can for nothing. Meaning, you may be on the verge of a major breakthrough, of a major realization where this fear, this specific belief that you have been holding on to all of your life, is about to die. And it is basically relying on its last resort, which is to be as loud as it possibly can in order to remain in your psyche and remain in your life. When you reframe your perspective on this and shift it in that way, it allows you to realize that you have actually been making way more progress than you realize. If your fear, if this belief, your ego is getting really, really loud, gripping on for dear life, trying to remain in your life, that goes to show that you have made it to a certain point in your life where you're about to let it go. And that requires a lot of work. That requires a lot of progress. The fact that you've gotten to this point where the fear, you're about to break through the fear, that it has to get so loud to the point where you can't even ignore it, you should be proud of yourself. You should feel this sense of deep pride that you have kept going and that you have made it this far. Allow yourself to reframe this perspective and experience what's going on within you a little bit differently. I know how easy it is to experience this in a negative way, but can you shift your experience? Because when you can shift it and have this perspective on what's going on instead, it it gives you this deeper feeling of trust. And that's what this is all for, right? We're wanting to learn how to trust ourselves in a deeper capacity and hear our intuition deeper. If you shift your perspective in these scenarios and realize that if I've made it this far, then I really have been learning what it means to trust myself, because I've trusted myself this far to get me to where I am right now in this moment. And now I can really deepen this in this moment. My fear is asking me not to deepen my self trust. My fear is trying to steal the show again. And instead of allowing it to do that, I can see it for what it really is. And I can say, you know what? I am on the right path and I've been doing it right up until this point. I'm going to deepen that even more. And I'm going to thank my fear for showing me this. Can you have gratitude for this inner critic in your head, for showing you how far you've come? When you can shift your perspective like this all of the time, anytime you're having a negative experience in your life, can you shift it? Can you reframe it to a neutral, maybe not a fully positive experience, but can you make it neutral and extract what it is actually reflecting to you? Because at every moment of every day, we're just being reflected to ourselves, what's going on within ourselves and what we're experiencing. And they are all just moments for us to see ourselves in a different way. So, can you learn how to shift your perspective each and every time you're experiencing something negative? Can you reframe it and shift that? So, the last thing, actually, what I want to say is the way that I help women really build their muscle with discernment is we continue to go on a journey where it's constantly releasing the fear-based beliefs, the beliefs that are not actually our truth, but we've been holding as our truth. There is an important process that has to take place when you're really trying to hear your intuition on a deeper scale and really tune out the fear that has been maybe running your life all of this time. And it requires letting go. It's requiring release. And you've likely already started to experience this if you're watching this video. For a lot of people, they've been learning what it means to heal themselves and learning what it means to prioritize themselves and pour back into them and really go deeper and have a deeper self-reflection in their life. And when they're doing that, what is important is when you identify the things, the beliefs, the fears that you no longer want to carry, the identity that isn't your truth, we must intentionally release this. And here's how I'll explain what's going on energetically when we're doing this, because I teach all about our energy. I teach all about our nervous system, all about our subconscious, how this all works together to create our reality. So we want to constantly prioritize our energy and keep our energy as clean as possible. Now, for many people who are in this messy middle, what we can think about with this is we're holding on to a lot of beliefs and identities and fear-based beliefs and unprocessed emotions that we've held on to throughout the course of our life. Now, this doesn't just live in our psyche, this lives in our body. And when I work with clients, the goal is to not only identify these things, but to let them go, to release them. Because when we allow the body to release what it has been storing, it clears up things in our energy field. Think of it as we have energy sources within our body, and there's this natural flow that can happen within our body, that should happen in our body. But when we are holding on to negative beliefs, negative fears, negative emotions, these negative things have a negative energetic charge to them because everything is energy. So think about these negative energy, these negative charged energy staying within our body, blocking our flow, our natural flow. And we want to let that go. And once we do, it has this it creates this space within our body, within our energy centers, and within our energetic field. And when you can clear out this space, what happens is you actually will start to hear your intuition, your higher self, God. You will begin to hear it much, much clearer. Think of it as when you're going through an area that doesn't have a lot of signal and it's static and you're trying to hear the message on the other end, and it can be really, really challenging. Think of it that way. That's what's going on in our life, and that's why discernment can feel very, very confusing, can feel very, very like you're not sure which one is the right one. It's because there's so much static in your field that it is really challenging to actually receive and hear the messages coming to you. When you clear that out, it creates space for those messages to come in clearer and more frequently. You'll just it's just a massive shift that begins to happen for us. And this not only clears that up, but it also creates space in your life to begin creating things, attracting things that you've been wanting for a really long time, maybe, but haven't been able to attract in your life. This could be a job, this could be a relationship, this could be money, this could just be people in your life treating you a certain way that you're sick of and you're fed up of. When you clear out those negative frequencies, it leaves space for positive ones. And when there's positive frequency vibrating within you and in your field, your aura, your reality begins sending you more energies and things that are more of a reflection of who you are. So a lot of the times my clients will start to receive new job opportunities. Their marriage will start to improve and deepen after years of just like not being where they want it to be. Their relationships with their kids begin to deepen because they just are able to be more present now that those negative energetic charges aren't blocking them from doing so. They start making more money. I've had a client that made $8,000 in a span of a month. Unexpected income. This wasn't even through her job. She just started receiving miracles and blessings in her life because she finally created this space within her body, within her energetic field to receive those things. Of course, she always wanted those things, but sometimes we have things within us that are blocking us from receiving it. So that is what I dive further into with the work that I have with my clients. But you can also begin to do this on your own. If you are on a healing journey, if you're on a self discovery journey or spiritual, or you just are trying to learn how to turn up the volume of your intuition, understand that the more you go deeper with yourself and allow yourself to actually release what you do not want to continue holding on to and carrying in your life, this will start to clear things up for you. Now, if you have no idea how to actually release things and how to actually identify the beliefs that and the identities that you're holding on to, if you want more guidance in that, I have a free training called the Identity Recalibration, and this walks you through how to actually identify what you're still holding on to. It gives you really deep reflective prompts to ask yourself and get really, really clear with yourself. And then I actually have in there a guided energy work meditation that walks you through how to release it. And then from there, it's about shifting into your new identity, recalibrating your body to hold the new version of yourself, the new blessings that are ready to enter into your life. It walks you through how to do all of this. So that is completely free if you want to download it. I will link it below. And if you are someone who is on a healing journey, you are wanting to learn more about your nervous system and how you can finally start regulating it and calming it down and just feeling more in alignment with your mind, body, and soul. This is my sacred work, and this is everything I'm teaching on this channel. So be sure to not only like this video if it was helpful, but subscribe and turn on the notifications to the little bell that is next to the video so that you get notified every time I release a video, because this is what I will be teaching on this channel if you are on this journey and are wanting to deepen your relationship with yourself and really unlock who you are truly meant to be. So I hope that this was helpful, and if you'd like to learn more, go ahead and watch the next video that comes up for you.